Amir Avivi, welcome to Jerusalem Dateline. Can you tell us what are your impressions of this sudden deal, hostage ceasefire deal?
Well, this deal has been going on since May. Hamas refused again and again to the deal. But now that Hamas is threatened by President Trump, now that Hamas lost Hezbollah, now that Syria fell and Iran is out of Syria, there is a new strategic situation that pushes Hamas towards agreeing to a deal. This is a stage in the war. Israel has 3 goals of war which it needs to achieve: eradicating Hamas as a governmental and military entity, bringing back all the hostages, and creating the terms that never again there will be a terror army in Gaza. At this specific moment, we have a chance to push the goal that says we need to bring back our hostages.
What about the other goals? What about no more Hamas and no more military rulers like that in Gaza, or destroying the organization? What about those goals?
Well, we'll go back to reach those goals after the ceasefire. We have a stage where we're releasing hostages. Israel maintains freedom of operation after the ceasefire. The ceasefire also gives Israel time to reorganize, re-equip, get the new administration on board. We have Iran to deal with, but I think there is a commitment in the government to reach all goals of war. We understand that there are heavy prices to pay for the release of the hostages, but it's not things that we cannot reverse and then go back and fight and win against Hamas.
So, I mean, does it give Israel that opportunity to go back and fight, or is it, I mean, it seems like we're going to let out all these hostage or all these prisoners, and Israel is going to be kind of stuck.
No, I don't see Israel stuck. I mean, yes, there will be prisoners released. Some of them will be deported outside of Israel, not to Gaza or to Judea and Samaria. Some of them will come back to Judea and Samaria. But overall, I think that Israel will be able, at the end of this deal, to go back and fight. And I think that the most important component that needs to change is the humanitarian aid. What keeps Hamas alive is the humanitarian aid. We need to separate Hamas from the society. We need the administration to back up Israel in this issue. And I think that if we really manage to control differently the humanitarian aid, we'll be able to really bring down Hamas, especially as a governmental entity.
Okay, and now what about a lot of the hostage families are really they're complaining that it's only going to be a few at a time, and it's over such a long period of time. What about that?
Well, you know, it's a negotiation. It's a tough negotiation. Hamas wanted one thing: to stop the war. Israel didn't agree to stop the war, and Hamas is gaining a period of time of ceasefire which they feel they need. Negotiations are tough, are complicated. I think that Israel will do everything possible to bring back all the hostages. It will be in stages, but the pressure on Hamas will amount after the first stage in order to really make sure that everybody comes back.
Okay, and what's to keep this deal from kind of fracturing and dissipating before all the hostages get home?
It might happen. We don't know. But if this happens and we don't get all the hostages, the pressure on Hamas needs to be huge. Stopping humanitarian aid, attacking fiercely, eliminating all the leaders of Hamas outside of Gaza, deporting them from Qatar. There are many things that can be done to enhance dramatically the pressure and bring down Hamas, or pressure it enough to release the remaining hostages or leave Gaza, and by doing that, enabling Israel to win the war.
Okay, and how has President Trump's upcoming inauguration, how has that changed the situation?
Well, it changed everything. I mean, the moment that President Trump said that if there won't be a release of hostages, there will be hell. This is exactly what makes Hamas move towards a deal. They are not doing that because of strength. They are doing that because of weakness. And they are afraid. What will be the consequences if they don't release the hostages? So obviously, the change of administration is dramatic for Israel, talking about leadership of the U.S. in the Middle East, munitions we need, willingness to really support fully Israel in the destruction of its enemies and bringing total victory.
And you think that this can happen?
Well, I'm sure that at the end of the day it will happen. We are determined to win decisively on all fronts. And I'm hoping that with President Trump, we'll be able to push victory much faster. We had a tough year. We had to fight in many occasions against the policy of the current administration, which slows us down. But I think we're going to see something completely different as of the 20th of January.
Very good. Thank you so much. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you would like to add about this deal, or that you feel is important for people to know?
Well, I think that this is the kind of deal that both the people that are afraid and worried about the deal, they are right. I mean, there are dangers inside this deal, but also people who say we must bring back the hostages, they are also right. So it's not black and white, or it's not right or wrong. We have a responsibility to bring back our hostages. We also have a responsibility to win the war and eradicate Hamas. And this is what will be the test of the government, to achieve all these goals together.
Okay. Amir Avivi, thank you so much for your insights.
You're welcome.